Check yourself. Are you tossing the ball straight up or backwards? When you toss backwards, you rush the backswing, power generation, and contact, resulting in a simple push. Today, we're focusing on the left side spin serve. Let's talk about spin. The biggest problem for amateurs is an unclear direction of force. For example, many players pull their loops to the left against backspin. Similarly, on the left side spin serve, many players push forward instead of cutting down. Whether it's fear of hitting the racket edge or something else, I want you to analyze your own serve. Your serve should generate force downwards, not forwards. Many of my students serve forward and get no spin. Once I tell them to force downwards, the spin increases dramatically. The motion for a side spin underspin serve is like a push. See? It's just a push stroke. Imagine I'm guiding your hand through a push, making contact at the moment you're pushing the ball off the table. Many players think they're going downwards, but in reality, they're still pushing forward too much. When you push forward, you lose a lot of spin. You'd never push forward like this. A proper push cuts underneath the ball. So you're essentially performing a push stroke outside the table. Always remember, the feeling for underspin is a cut or brush, not a push. This is about an unclear force direction. It feels like you're going down, but the force is actually forward. So, point 1, for the left side spin serve, regardless of grip, you must brush downwards. What does downwards mean? After you brush the ball, your forearm must drive downwards. That's what creates side spin underspin. If your forearm moves forward too much, the spin becomes weak and easily attacked. So, from a level position, your forearm must drive down. That's how you generate heavy spin. That's the first point. Second, many players can't serve effective side spin underspin because they toss the ball backwards, which kills the spin. Tossing it backwards leaves no time for a proper stroke, forcing you to just push the ball forward. This prevents you from actively cutting down on the ball. You're just pushing it over. When you toss backwards, you rush the backswing, power generation, and contact, resulting in a simple push. Check yourself, are you tossing the ball straight up or backwards? A vertical toss allows you to cut down directly, generating massive spin. This is why your serve isn't spinning. If the ball is too close to you, jamming you, you can only make contact. You can't generate friction. For your side spin underspin serve, while a slight backward toss is acceptable, you should aim for a vertical toss so you can actively cut down on the ball, rather than tossing it back and being forced into a pushing motion. Fix this, and your spin will definitely increase. This is a very common issue. Amateurs often think their toss is vertical, but video reveals the ball is jamming them, preventing an active, accelerating swing. When you're jammed, you can only push. A vertical toss gives you space for a full backswing and acceleration. The same fault applies to the hook serve. Players ask why they can only serve topspin. It's because only a vertical toss allows you to actively cut down for underspin. If you struggle with this, you must self-diagnose your ball toss. Okay, the third point, again, is the ball toss. Have you ever practiced just your toss? It doesn't need to be high. Practice a low, consistent toss. My third point, especially for beginners, is that panic often leads to a low toss. This is just like a forehand loop. If your arm isn't fully extended, you can't generate that combined force by synchronizing your swing with the ball. Your toss height should match your backswing height. For instance, if your backswing is this high, your toss needs to be this high. If your toss is too low but you attempt a full backswing, you'll miss the ball. There's not enough time to synchronize the motions. If you don't bring your racket back for a proper backswing and stay close to the ball, can you serve? Yes, but the spin will be very weak. It's like trying to punch without pulling your arm back. There's no power because there's no space. Therefore, when you serve, your toss should reach at least your forehead. This allows your toss and your swing to synchronize for a coordinated motion. Crucially, your backswing must have some outward movement, whether up or back. You must contact the ball during your forward acceleration, not at the start of your swing. Think of it in phases. Point A is the backswing, point B is contact, and point C is acceleration and the stop. If you're starting your motion from point B, of course you won't get any spin. The reason your backswing is ineffective is that your toss is too low or inconsistent. The key is to synchronize your toss with your swing for a fluid, coordinated motion. A good backswing, phase A, allows amateurs to fully prepare and load up, which creates acceleration through phase B. You can't start a sprint from a standstill. It's like a long jump. You need the run-up, A, to power the jump, B and C. First, we'll fix why your underspin serve isn't spinning. Then, we'll address why it isn't fast. Finally, I'll teach you how to serve it short. Today is all about sidespin underspin. Another key point for heavy underspin: avoid a scooping motion that cancels out the spin. What is this scooping motion? It's a follow-through that goes up, which negates the spin. Let's have my assistant demonstrate receiving. If I cut straight down, the ball is very heavy. Without adjusting his angle, he'll push it into the net. But if I serve with that scooping motion, the ball has no spin, and he can loop it easily. It's like any stroke, you're supposed to stop here, but your motion continues too far. You're over-rotating. The same principle applies to serving. When you contact the ball for a sidespin underspin serve, your motion should stop at the table level. Do not continue the motion upwards or forwards after contact. You must have an abrupt stop. This braking action is what makes the ball spin. Don't flick upwards or push forwards after the stop. This will ruin the spin. For a sidespin underspin serve, your racket should finish pointing at the table, and then stop dead. Otherwise, you create opposing forces that cancel each other out. You generate spin, then immediately add a 30% no-spin push, and the result is a dead ball. Personally, when it comes to that final braking motion, I use all of my strength to stop the racket. Try this, starting tomorrow. After you serve, focus on that stop. Really exaggerate the force of that braking motion. At the moment of contact, concentrate all your power into your hand for that abrupt stop. I never used to feel this either, but recently I've been serving a lot of hook and reverse pendulum serves, and the feeling of this braking motion is incredibly clear to me now. So, don't just passively stop. Actively and forcefully stop. Make that feeling distinct. A forceful stop will make the ball spin like crazy. Force the stop. See how the ball dies and dives down? That's the feeling you want. Don't worry about the height for now. First, just feel what it's like to maximize spin with a forceful stop. We are breaking this down step by step. If you fix one thing, your spin improves by 10%. Fix another, it's 20%. It's not a magic trick where one finger movement takes your spin from 20% to 80%. Using your body adds 30%, the braking motion adds 40%, a good toss adds 50%, and so on. It's a cumulative process. Question from chat: for a hook serve, do you force to the left? Yes, a hook serve must have a forward follow-through. But that doesn't conflict with the braking motion. The follow-through and the stop are two distinct parts of the same motion. They don't contradict each other. I'm not saying to stop instantly without a follow-through. I'm saying complete the stroke, and make the very end of that stroke an abrupt, powerful stop. That's the idea. This has nothing to do with eliminating your follow-through or your deceptive motions. The point is to complete your full motion, and at the very end of it, squeeze and stop with force. It's not about stopping the moment you touch the ball. Execute the full motion, but make the final stopping action powerful. That's the concept.